Okay, welcome back, folks. We're here and looking at the brand new Xbox One. Brand new device is coming out later this year. Smooth, sleek design.
Well, hello and welcome to Australia's first PAX. Here at Xbox, I've got to say we are pumped to be here with you guys and to be able to showcase for the very first time on Australian soil the Xbox One. Now, my name's Adam, I'm from the local Xbox team, and today we'll be showing you not only some of the cool technology behind the box, but also some of the kick-ass games that you guys can expect to see for launch. Now, we'll just say that everything we're showing you today is pre-release code, so if we do get a few tech snappers along the way, just bear with us and we'll work through that together. So with that, let's jump in and take a look at some of the specs behind the box, in case you haven't already seen them for yourself. So first up, the Xbox 360 sports an 8-core CPU, with 8GB of system memory and a 500GB hard drive. In addition to that, it has a HDMI import, which allows other devices to pass through the console, as well as an IR blaster and 4K resolution. But where the magic really starts to happen is through the console's cloud acceleration functionality. Essentially, for every Xbox One you have connected in your living room, there is 3 more in the cloud. Now, these specs are cool and all, and they sound great, but I mean, what does it really mean in terms of new features versus what you guys have already got on the Xbox 360 today? Well, here's a couple of my personal favourites. Firstly, computational power. As I just mentioned, the cloud really enables something special here. Not only is the Xbox One console already significantly more powerful than the 360, but with the cloud, we've future-proofed that processing power so that we can continue to evolve that power over the next decade. Human AI, the ability for the console to learn the playing styles of both you and your friends, and incorporate that knowledge into the way in which bots play in multiplayer or campaign modes. Living worlds, the ability for you to log off your console at night, jump back on in the morning, and that world that you're playing in has entirely changed. Environments have been damaged, battles have been won and lost. You know, unlimited storage, I mentioned before, 500GB on board with the console, but if you tap that out, no problem, saves the cloud. And what we've really done with the Xbox One console is to bring 2 operating systems together to operate simultaneously to enable things like multitasking and instant switching. So if I'm smashing out a game of Forza Motorsport 5 and I get a Skype call come in, I can just hit a button and boom, I'm switching straight to that application. When I'm finished the call, again, click at the button, I'm straight back into Forza 5 and picking up right where I left off. Maybe I've just lost a race. I just don't have the time or the energy to give that another crack right now. So I jump out, watch maybe an episode of Breaking Bad. When that's done, boom, hit that button, I'm straight back into Forza to give that race another go. No waiting times, no loading times to reboot that game after you've gone and done something different. And of course, applications. As you'd expect, a whole host of new apps landing on the Xbox One console. One of those is Skype, 1080p. The ability to have a Skype call from your lounge room to any other device that supports that Skype platform. And of course, one of the pieces of technology that not only enables Skype, but also some of our other apps that we're launching, is the new Kinect sensor. So with that, let's take a look at some of the innovation behind Kinect 2.0. We've really made some changes in 3 key areas: Kinect's eyes, Kinect's ears, and Kinect's brain. And to help you show that to you guys live today, I'd like to invite my colleague Eric to the stage, and let's take a look at what Kinect sees behind the scenes. So what you can see on screen right now is the 3D vision of Kinect. The fidelity is actually 3 times that of the first generation sensor. Now, why do we care about that? Well, what you'll notice is that we can now see things like precise movements in Eric's fingers. Not only that, we can start to see the outline of his shirt and wrinkles in that shirt, as well as facial expressions like his eyes and mouth opening and closing, which we can then take and put into the game over the character you're actually playing, so that their expressions reflect those that you are currently doing on the lounge or wherever you may be playing. What we've also done is improve the play space. So if any of you have Kinect out there today, you'll be accustomed with the fact that you really need 2.5 to 3 metres back from the device to accurately track your entire body. But with Kinect 2.0, you really only need just over 1 metre to track your entire body, which is a great new improvement. We've also increased the width of view, such that we can enable a much larger play space, which is ideal for multiplayer of 4 to 6 people. What we also have done is we've included in Kinect 2.0 a 1080p HD colour camera, which you can see on screen right now, very crisp, very clear. Ideal for applications like Skype. 1080p. But if you guys are anything like me, I mean, I don't really play games certainly in these types of lights. I usually play in a dimly lit or a dark room. And if I just get the guys to dim the lights on us right now, what you'll see is that we start to lose visibility of Eric, which is such a shame. We can no longer track his precise movements or really any movement at all right now. But with Connect 2.0, we've enabled an active IR camera, which essentially is night vision for the Connect. So we can see everything Eric's now doing very, very clearly. Now don't worry, if you don't want Connect to see what you're doing in the dark, we can of course toggle off that functionality so that the Connect sensor cannot see or hear you if you don't want it to know what you're up to. We'll just pause there. Now also what you'll see now is I've just enabled the camera, the standard colour camera back down in the bottom right hand corner. And what Eric's going to do is he's going to bring up a flashlight and shine it on his body. Because what we know is that in the past, with the Connect sensor, the first generation, we did suffer from a few issues where light was impacting gameplay, whether that be sunlight coming through a window, or maybe that was a lamp in the corner of the room that was reflecting light onto your body, as you can see in the bottom right. But what you may have noticed is that with active IR enabled, that ambient light is entirely filtered out. You cannot see that flashlight anywhere in night vision mode, which makes, of course, another great change to the Connect sensor. Now what about Connect's brains? Well, if any of you guys have kind of been following Xbox and Connect for a while, you no doubt will have seen the attractive stickman figure that you can see on screen right now. And he's back and he's all new and improved. We can now track multiple more points on the body, and we can track smooth motions such as Eric's hip movements, if you're into that type of thing. Maybe his shoulder movements, as well as separation between the thumb and his other fingers through stickman mode. Look, it's been a while since stickman came on the scene, and he's put on a few kgs over the years. So we now refer to him endearingly as Blockman. And now the great thing about Blockman is that we can now not only track directional movement, we can actually track rotations and movement. So if you see Eric as he moves his leg from front facing to back facing, or as he rotates his head, we can track all those movements and incorporate them again into gameplay. You may be in a first-person shooter and you want to peek around the corner to get line of sight of some enemies, but you don't want to use yet another button because we're already using like 10 or 12 of them at one time. Or you can use Connect to peek around that corner using this type of technology. What we've also done is introduce the ability to track impact and force. And what you'll see here is as Eric moves around the screen, as his character moves from green to red, we're tracking the distribution of weight across his body. We can also track the velocity of his movements. So maybe you're in a boxing game, you're throwing a few small jabs, you'll see that reflected by these tiny white circles appearing around his hands right now. But if he wants to throw a haymaker blow, boom. We can track that. The big white circle reflecting the damage that he's doing to the other player. Really going to town here. Now, Eric, don't get your heart rate too far up because the next thing I want to show the guys is this heart rate monitor. We can now estimate a player's heart rate by the Connect's ability to analyse blood flow beneath the skin. Now, clearly a haymaker probably wasn't the best thing to perform prior to this demo, but if Eric was standing relatively still, you'd see a static heart rate coming across the screen there. But if he starts to exercise, starts jumping around, running on the spot, for example, that heart rate will really start to pick up and we'll get a beats per minute reading. So again, ideal for fitness applications, for example. The last thing I'll show you guys today is the ability for us to now track facial expressions. So whether Eric is smiling or if he's frowning or looking away, again, we can use that technology to build in your emotions and your facial expressions into your actual player model on screen. So that's some cool stuff there. Now, the other piece of new technology, which of course complements Connect and the console, is the controller. Now, quick show of hands out there, if we can get a little bit of light. How many of you guys spend more than 20, 30 hours a week with your hands wrapped around one of these bad boys? All right, there's a few of you guys. That could have been awkward. So we've taken this 360 controller, which I'm sure many of you know is largely heralded as one of the best controllers ever created, and we've added 40 new improvements to the device. And some of my personal favourites are the thumbsticks. We've made them smaller with a knurled texture. And they are now only require 25% less force to direct those thumbsticks. We've also added innovations to the D-pad such that it's optimised for sweeping and combo moves. We've also made it significantly more comfortable by removing this big ugly battery pack from the back of the 360 controller and made that battery internal so it's not in the way of your fingertips when you're gaming. We've also reduced or changed the centre of gravity of the controller so it feels lighter and is more comfortable in the hand. But look, my personal favourite is the impulse triggers that we've introduced. Now many of you I'm sure are familiar with the rumble motion that's in most controllers today. We've taken that one step further and we've introduced additional rumble motors behind each of the two triggers, which allow impulse feedback directly to your fingertips during gameplay. Now, Eric, I know that you're someone who spends a fair bit of time with the Xbox One controller. Maybe you can help these guys out with showing us a few examples of how this impulse functionality would play out in a real game.
I would love to. Seems like my screen is flickering, but perhaps I will continue on.
Had to be.
Why not? Of course. So, the controller. We have 3 in the country, so that's really not going to be so well for everyone of you to get your hands on it. I'll do my best to describe it and make it come to life for you on the stage. So, the applications I'm going to show you today about the impulse triggers, these are applications that developers are going to be able to take a hold of and build amazing experiences around. One of them that I think all of you will like really helps with the packet heat. So if you're a first-person shooter game and you pick up a Gatling gun or a pistol or a sniper rifle, for some of you guys that like to just hide behind corners and kill people without them even knowing, I know you are out there. Now, what you'll be able to feel is every gun will have a different recoil on it. So when you're holding down your trigger, if you're shooting a really good gun, you'll feel that recoil come and kick back. If you're holding on to a smaller pistol though, it'll be a little bit softer.
Yeah, right. So what you're saying is that if I'm holding a sniper rifle or a machine gun, I'm going to get different recoil fed back through my fingertips.
Exactly. But for you, it'll be a sniper rifle add-on.
Yeah, right. Very cool. Very cool. What else have we got?
Well, I'm so glad you asked. This one is one of my favorites, but it's a little more subtle. It's not quite overt, and it comes in handy when you're playing a game that requires you to measure your character's stamina. Same maybe in a sports game or an RPG game. For me, it would definitely be an RPG game. I never spend enough on stamina. I'm always too busy building up my champions, etc. So in this particular game, when I'm getting my ass kicked, I need to run away really fast. I need to keep my eye on the stamina bar. You don't really want that distraction. Now what we're going to be able to do is feed you through the impulse triggers, we'll give you your heartbeat. So you'll know exactly what's happening to your character and how much time you have before you get killed by a level 19 necromancer who's behind you.
Very cool. And look, I know, Eric, one of the games that we're pretty excited about is Forza Motorsport 5. It's launching on the console. Is there going to be kind of interfere functionality that will play out in a car racing game scenario?
Well, I will not be demoing Forza Motorsport 5. As you know, I am really terrible at that game. I'm all speed and no finesse. And so what happens to me in a game like that is I take a corner and I take it absolutely way too fast, out of control, and you slam on the brakes, as I do. What you'll feel this time is the ABS will kick in, and you'll feel that motion from your fingertips to deliver you that real-time feedback.
Okay, very cool. All right, well, thanks for that, Eric. We'll pick back up a little later. So guys, as you can see, we've made some significant advancements to not only the console, but also the other elements, the sensor and the controller. We've really designed these 3 pieces of technology from the ground up together to deliver some pretty freaking awesome gaming experiences.